The rainforest was alive. The sound of it never stopped, a constant thrum of wings, croaks, dripping water, the distant crash of a tree finally surrendering to its own weight. But beneath the canopy, where the filtered light dappled the floor in shades of green and gold, the forest pulsed with a quieter rhythm, the heartbeat of Moroko's troop. Moroko moved slowly, deliberately, his massive chest swaying with each stride. His black fur glistened in the humid air, his silverback catching the shafts of sun that pierced the leaves. Around him, the younger ones played, tumbling in rough circles, beating their chests with exaggerated bravado. Mothers watched with soft grunts, nursing infants who clung to them like shadows. The troop was calm, Moroko was calm, yet deep inside, the great silverback never rested. His every sense stretched outward, ears flicking at distant bird calls, nostrils flaring at the musky scent of a leopard miles away, eyes scanning the shifting green for movement. Peace was only ever borrowed in the forest. A leader had to be the wall against the chaos, the shield against the unknown. He thumped his chest once, a low booming echo, and the troop glanced at him instinctively. Safety radiated from his presence. He was their anchor, their mountain. But mountains could be tested, Moroko remembered. He had not always been Silverback. Years ago, his own father had led this troop. Moroko had been young then, strong but unproven, filled with the restless energy of a challenger. His father had been larger, but age had slowed him. When the day came, when Moroko had stood before him with chest pounding, roaring his challenge into the dripping air, the forest itself had held its breath. The fight was brutal, a blur of muscle and fury. Moroko's scars still ran along his shoulder, thick ropes beneath the fur. His father had fled, broken but alive, leaving Moroko the burden of leadership. Since then, he had kept the troop safe. He had grown broader, wiser, his silverback shining like frost over shadow. But with the weight of years came new challenges. Somewhere beyond the trees, another male waited. Moroko had smelled him, his musky warning, his chest beats echoing faintly through the canopy. A rival, young, unscarred, reckless, a storm waiting to break. Moroko knew it would come. One day soon, he would have to fight again. For now, though, the troop moved with him toward the river. He led with careful pace, testing the ground with each knuckle before pressing his weight down. The forest shifted around him, butterflies exploding from blossoms, monkeys chattering from high branches. The air was thick with life. A rustle to his left froze him. His massive head turned, leaves trembled. The scent was sharp, pungent, predatory, leopard. Moroko's lips curled back, exposing yellowed teeth. His chest swelled. He loosed a guttural roar that tore through the trees. The troop tightened, mothers pulling infants close, juveniles shrinking behind him. For a long heartbeat, silence. Then the leopard slunk away, unseen, conceding to the giant. Moroko lowered his head. Danger had passed. This time, the river was swollen from rains, its surface broken by darting fish. The troop drank, splashing, playful again now that fear had lifted. Moroko crouched at the bank, cupping water in his massive hand, bringing it to his mouth. Cool relief slid down his throat. He watched his family drink, his heart steady. But even as he breathed in the wet earth, another scent threaded the air. Strange, acrid, alien. It carried none of the forest's rhythms. It was smoke. Moroko stilled. His nostrils flared. The smoke was faint, far off, but wrong. The forest burned sometimes. Storms, split trees, lightning sparked fires. But this was different. It was sharp, clinging, carrying the faint edge of iron. He grunted uneasily. The troop shifted, uneasy too. Moroko did not yet understand humans. He had glimpsed them. Hairless apes that walked upright, carried long sticks that thundered, cut paths through the green with blades that bit trees until they fell. He had felt their eyes from the shadows, strange and intent. They smelled of oil, fire, and death. He led the troop away from the smoke. His chest boomed once, and they followed. For now, the forest still held places untouched, deep valleys where trees grew so thick no light reached the ground. There, perhaps, they could hide from the strange ones. Days passed. The rival drew nearer. Moroko heard his chest beat sometimes, a deep drumming that vibrated through the ground, challenging, taunting. His females shifted nervously when it echoed. The younger males puffed themselves up, as if they might join the fight. Moroko silenced them with a single glare. The fight would be his alone. It came at dawn. Mist coiled between the trees as Moroko heard the heavy steps. Then the challenger appeared, Blackford, massive, his chest gleaming with youth's sheen. He beat his chest, a deafening rhythm that shook the canopy. Birds exploded upward in a frantic storm. Moroko rose to his full height, taller, broader, his silver back glowing pale in the dim light. He beat his chest in answer. Boom, 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 each strike echoing through the valley. The troop froze, silent, their fate hanging in the space between beats. The challenger roared, charged. Moroko met him like thunder. They collided with bone-shaking force. Fists slammed, teeth snapped. The forest rang with their fury. The young one was fast, reckless, striking with wild strength. Moroko was slower but solid. Every blow a mountain's weight. They rolled, tearing vines, uprooting saplings. Blood sprayed, dark against green. Moroko's breath came ragged. His muscles burned. Age tugged at him, the years heavy in his bones, but his mind held one truth: protect them. His troop, his family, his legacy. With a final surge, Moroko seized the challenger's arm, twisted, slammed him into the earth. The young one roared in pain, struggled, then fled, crashing into the undergrowth. His scent trailed away, bitter with defeat. Moroko stood trembling, blood streaking his fur, chest heaving. He raised his head and roared, long and thunderous, proclaiming his victory to the forest. The troop answered with low grunts, gathering close, touching him with cautious hands. Their leader still stood, but the smoke was stronger now. Days later it came, the humans. They hacked paths through the forest, their strange voices carrying, their sticks flashing. Trees fell. The troop scattered at Moroko's command, hiding in thick brush. Moroko crouched, massive body still, watching. His heart thundered not with challenge, but with something he had rarely felt: a cold, crawling fear. The humans moved like predators, but without hunger. They killed trees, not for food, but for something unseen. They carried thundersticks that cracked the air, leaving death in their wake. Moroko knew he could fight a leopard. He could fight a rival, but this, he could not understand. He only knew he must keep his troop alive. He led them deeper, into valleys where rivers wound like veins, where the canopy wove so thick even smoke struggled to slip through. There, they survived. Day by day, fruit by fruit, moment by moment. Moroko grew older. His silver brightened, his strength slowed, but his presence never dimmed. He taught the young to climb higher, to listen to the forest's whispers, to trust its shadows. He watched infants grow into juveniles, juveniles into young strength. He watched his daughters carry infants of their own, his blood flowing forward. The smoke never left entirely. Sometimes it thickened, sometimes it thinned. The forest was changing. But Moroko remained. One dawn, as mist curled low and the air rang with bird calls, Moroko sat beneath the great fig tree. His troop gathered around him, some grooming, some resting, all within reach of his steady presence. His eyes half closed, ears tuned to every rustle, every heartbeat. The forest was alive, still alive. Moroko's chest swelled. He beat it once, slow, deep, a sound that rolled through the trees like distant thunder, a sound of defiance, a sound of survival. For as long as the forest stood, so would he, Moroko, Silverback, Lord of the Rainforest. And though one day he would fall, his kind would endure. Because strength was not just in fists or roars. It was in the will to protect, the courage to endure, and the legacy carried forward in the blood of his children. The forest would change, the world would change, but the gorilla spirit, Moroko's spirit, would remain, majestic, eternal.